Look, have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and you immediately feel something is off? You cannot explain it. They haven't said a single word. But something in your gut says this person is hiding something. And then, minutes later, you find out you were right. Most people call that intuition. But it's not magic. It's psychology. And today I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Because reading people is not a superpower. It is a skill. And once you understand the hidden signals that every human being broadcasts without even knowing it, you will never be fooled again. Think about it. Every single day, you interact with people who are performing. They smile when they don't mean it. They say, "I'm fine," when they are collapsing inside. They tell you they support you while secretly hoping you fail. And you've been trusting the words, instead of watching what their body is actually saying. That stops today. The human body does not know how to lie. The mind can construct a perfect story. The mouth can deliver it flawlessly. But the body always leaks the truth. In tiny, almost invisible moments, a flicker of the eyes, a shift of weight, a fraction of a second expression that crosses the face before the mask goes back on, the truth is always there. You just haven't been trained to see it. Let me explain what's actually happening inside a person's brain when they interact with you. There are two systems running at the same time. The conscious mind, the one that plans what to say, how to smile, what to wear. And the unconscious mind, the one controlling 90% of your body's movements without you even realizing it. When someone feels threatened, their shoulders tighten. When someone is lying, their blink rate changes. When someone is attracted to you, their pupils expand. These are not choices. They are automatic, biological, honest. And once you know what to look for, you will start seeing them everywhere. The first idea is this: microexpressions. A microexpression is a facial expression that lasts for only a fraction of a second, sometimes as little as 1/25th of a second. It happens before the person can control it, before the social mask goes back on. It reveals the true emotion that the person is feeling in that moment, before their brain even has time to hide it. There are 7 universal microexpressions. They are the same across every culture, every country, every language on Earth. A child in Pakistan shows the same fear expression as a businessman in London. Why? Because these expressions are not learned. They are hardwired into your biology. They have been there for hundreds of thousands of years, long before language even existed. The 7 are happiness, sadness, anger, fear, disgust, contempt, and surprise. Now, most people think they can fake a smile. They think they know what happiness looks like. But here is what almost nobody knows. A real smile, researchers call it the Duchenne smile, involves 2 muscles. The zygomatic major, which pulls the corners of your mouth upward, and the orbicularis oculi, which creates the small wrinkles at the corners of the eyes. You cannot voluntarily control that second muscle. When a smile is fake, the eyes don't move. The cheeks lift, the mouth curves, but the eyes stay flat, blank, almost cold. Think about it. How many times have you received a smile that felt wrong? That felt hollow. Now you know why. Your brain was detecting the absence of eye movement. Your instincts already knew. You just didn't have the language to explain it. Let me give you a real example. I was once in a conversation with someone who told me they were completely okay with a decision I had made. Calm voice, relaxed shoulders, big smile. But every single time I said the word decision, a brief, almost invisible flash of contempt crossed their face. A slight lifting of one side of the upper lip, a subtle narrowing of one eye. Within days, that relationship became complicated. The body had told me the truth in the first 5 minutes. The words had been lying the entire time. Second, eye movement. Not just whether someone makes eye contact, but how they make it, for how long, and most importantly, what direction their eyes move when they stop. Here is a documented pattern. When a person is remembering something true, something that actually happened, their eyes typically move to the upper left. They are accessing a real visual memory. When a person is constructing something, imagining, inventing, creating something new, their eyes move to the upper right. They are building a picture that does not exist yet. No, this is not a magic lie detector. Context always matters, but combined with other signals, it becomes one of the most powerful tools in human communication. Another thing most people ignore: the blink rate. The average person blinks between 15 and 20 times per minute. When someone is under stress, when they are suppressing a strong emotion, when they are carefully managing what they reveal, the blink rate increases dramatically. Sometimes doubling, sometimes tripling. When someone is genuinely calm, genuinely confident, genuinely comfortable, their blink rate slows down. It becomes slow, steady, unhurried. I want you to start tracking this. The next time you are in a difficult conversation, watch the eyes, not for the words they're not saying, for the speed of the blink. The truth is always blinking at you, another truth, posture. And this is where reading people becomes almost effortless. The human body, unconsciously, automatically, orients itself toward what it wants and away from what it doesn't. When someone genuinely wants to be in a conversation with you, their body faces you directly. Their chest is open. Their feet point toward you. They lean in subtly but measurably. When someone wants to leave, even if they are politely staying, smiling, nodding, their feet betray them. One foot, sometimes both, angle toward the exit. The shoulders start to turn. The body is already walking away. The mouth just hasn't caught up yet. You have felt this before. You are in a conversation and something feels different. The person seems present but also somehow absent. That is not a feeling. That is your brain reading a physical reality. Their body left the room before they did. Now the most important part. Hands. The hands are the most expressive part of the human body after the face, and they reveal more than almost anything else. When someone hides their hands, puts them in pockets, clasps them behind their back, keeps them below the table, they are unconsciously concealing information. This is a primal behavior. Humans have always shown open palms to signal safety, trust, honesty. When the hands disappear, the brain registers something hidden, not always consciously. But the feeling of unease is real, and it is accurate. Open palms, facing upward or visible, are one of the most powerful trust signals in human communication. When someone speaks to you with their palms open and slightly exposed, your brain interprets this as, I have nothing to hide. I am not a threat. I am telling you the truth. This is why the most effective leaders in history have always used open palm gestures when speaking to large groups. It is not style. It is psychology. Watch also for hand-to-face touching. When a person is under stress, when they are trying to suppress information, when they are managing something emotionally difficult, they unconsciously touch their face more. The nose, the mouth, the back of the neck. This is the brain sending the hands for comfort. And here is the critical insight. When you see someone touch their face at a specific moment in a conversation, pay very close attention to exactly what was just said or asked in that moment. That specific statement triggered something. Something the body just couldn't fully hide. Let me give you a real example. I used to work with someone who seemed completely straightforward. Direct answers, confident posture. But I noticed something every single time the topic of money or numbers came up, they would briefly touch their upper lip with 2 fingers, just for a moment. Then continue talking normally. It was such a small thing, I almost missed it, but I started tracking it. Every time. Same topic. Same gesture. Weeks later, I discovered they had been hiding financial information the entire time. The hand had been confessing. I just had to learn to listen. Another thing most people ignore, contempt. Of all 7 micro-expressions, contempt is the most dangerous signal in a relationship. And the most commonly missed. Contempt looks like this, a very slight, one-sided lifting of the upper lip, sometimes accompanied by a slight narrowing of the eye on the same side. It lasts less than a second. But what it means is devastating. Contempt is not anger. Anger means someone is upset with you but still sees you as equal. Contempt means someone has placed themselves above you, has decided consciously or unconsciously that you are beneath their respect. Research by Dr. John Gottman showed that contempt, detected in couples, predicted divorce with over 90% accuracy. Not arguments, not disagreements, not even betrayal. Contempt. A single fraction of a second expression that flashes before the person can stop it. If you ever see contempt on someone's face when they look at you, even briefly, even followed by a warm smile, pay very close attention. That flash was the truth. Everything after it was management. Now we go deeper. The voice, not the words. The voice itself. The pitch, the pace, the pauses, these carry more information than content ever can. When someone is being deceptive, their speech becomes hesitant. Longer pauses before answering simple questions. More and fillers. The pitch sometimes rises slightly at the end of statements, as if their own subconscious is turning facts into questions. And when someone is genuinely confident, genuinely certain, genuinely honest, their words come out at a measured pace. Natural rhythm. Almost no unnecessary pauses or fillers. Think about it. The last time someone gave you an answer that felt wrong, not wrong in content, but wrong in delivery. The pause was too long for such a simple question. The voice went slightly higher where it should have stayed flat. Something in your body registered the mismatch. That is called vocal incongruence. And your brain has been detecting it your entire life. You just didn't have a name for it. I used to focus only on words. What are they saying? What is the content? But content is the easiest thing to control. You can rehearse content. You can plan it. You cannot easily fake the rhythm of genuine certainty. You cannot easily fake the pace of someone who is not calculating every word. Now, let me bring everything together, because knowing 7 signals is not the same as knowing how to read people. The skill is in combining these signals, understanding them in context, and first establishing something called the baseline. A baseline is what a person looks like when they are completely natural, unstressed, unguarded, when they are simply being themselves with nothing to hide or protect. Everyone has a baseline. Some people blink more than average. Some people naturally sit with crossed arms. Some people touch their face constantly without any stress at all. These habits are not deception. They are personality. And if you misread baseline behavior as deception, you will be wrong constantly. The key is this. You can only detect a deviation from truth if you first understand what truth looks like for that specific person. Here is how to establish a baseline quickly with someone you just met. Ask questions you already know the answers to. Not to test them, they won't know that. But to observe how they respond when there is no pressure, no reason to hide, nothing at stake. Watch the eyes, watch the hands, watch the blink rate. Feel their natural rhythm. Build the map of their normal. Once you have that map, any deviation from it becomes visible, even obvious. The cluster principle. I want to come back to this because it is the most important rule in reading people, and the most commonly ignored. No single signal means anything by itself. A crossed arm might mean cold. A long pause might mean careful thought. An eye movement might mean creativity, not deception. The signal only becomes real information when it appears as part of a cluster. 2, 3, 4 signals all pointing in the same direction at the same moment. When someone's arms cross, and their jaw tightens, and their eye contact breaks, and a flash of anger crosses their face, all in response to the same question, that cluster is giving you a clear, loud signal. Not one of those signals alone. All of them together at the same moment, triggered by the same topic. That is information. That is truth. This is the same principle that skilled negotiators use, that therapists use, that investigators use. They are not looking for one dramatic signal. They are reading the whole painting, every brushstroke, every color, every shadow, until the picture becomes clear. Another truth, what people don't say. This is perhaps the most overlooked part of reading people. Silence is not the absence of communication. Silence is communication. When you ask someone a direct question and they answer with a slightly different, adjacent answer, they did not answer your question. They answered a question they preferred. That is not an accident. When someone describes a situation to you and a small detail changes between the first and second time they tell the story, something happened in that detail. Real memory is consistent. Constructed memory drifts. Start listening for what is not being said, for the question that was subtly avoided, for the emotion that almost surfaced but was pulled back at the last second, for the name that was not mentioned when it logically should have been, for the story that changed a small detail the second time. Real deception is almost never a giant, obvious fabrication. It is small omissions, tiny redirections, strategic silences placed in exactly the right moments. Now let me give you the most advanced tool in this entire framework. It is the one that separates people who study body language from people who can actually use it. Emotional congruence. Every genuine human moment has alignment between what a person says, how their body positions itself, and what expression crosses their face. When someone tells you good news and they are genuinely happy, the smile reaches their eyes, their posture opens, their voice rises with natural energy. Every channel says the same thing simultaneously. That is congruence. That is truth. When these channels disagree, when the words say one thing and the face says another, when the voice sounds calm but the hands are moving too much, when the smile appears but the eyes show something different, you are witnessing incongruence. You are watching two realities exist at the same time, the one being performed and the one being felt. The practiced eye does not look for one thing. It looks for the disagreement between everything. I want to leave you with something important. This skill, reading people, understanding body language, detecting the truth beneath the performance, It is not about suspicion. It is not about going through life treating everyone as a suspect. That is not wisdom. That is paranoia. And paranoia closes you off from the real connections that make life meaningful. What this skill is about is clarity. Seeing people as they actually are, not as they present themselves. Knowing when someone is genuinely with you, present, honest, open, and when they are performing a version of themselves for reasons you deserve to understand. Real absence only works when you are building your life. Real awareness only works when you stay rooted in reality, not lost in analysis. The people who move through life with the deepest clarity are not the ones who trust no one. They are the ones who see clearly. Who watch the full picture, the face, the body, the voice, the silence, and read what everyone else walks past without noticing. You were not born unable to read people. You were born with every biological tool required to do it naturally. You were just never taught how to listen to what your instincts were already telling you. Start watching. Start listening. Not with suspicion, with presence, because the person who can truly read the room is never controlled by it. And the strongest position in any relationship, any negotiation, any human connection is not needing to be fooled, but choosing to see clearly.